Football, the unyielding card master strikes back. Episode 111. Referee, the other party has fouled. Come on, quick, fall into my arms. When Cavani heard Suyasi's words, he showed a stunned look. But Suyas doesn't care about Cavani's reaction. He just does whatever he thinks. Anyway, touch porcelain, do not touch white, do not touch. It's good to be able to become natural, and it's nothing if you can't succeed. If you exchange it for a penalty or something, it will be blood. Therefore, Suyasi couldn't help but forcibly let Cavani get hurt. Referee. Referee, the opponent fouled. Referee, come here. Immediately, Suyasi shouted towards Jiang Ning and waved in greeting. Cavani's eyes widened. He didn't expect that it was all this time. Suyasi actually had the mind to do this. But now that they have all fallen, what can they do? Just cooperate with him to act. So Edinson symbolically rolled on the ground twice, covering his feet with a painful expression. Huh? Jiang Ning frowned when he heard Suyasi's shout, and then immediately ran towards here. Suyasi's eyes lit up, and Jiang Ning ran over to represent a show. However, when he saw Jiang Ning's cold eyes, he knew that things were not good, and sure enough, after Jiang Ning ran over, he did not hesitate in the slightest, and directly showed the yellow card to Cavani. Edinson is bitter and can't say, ah. The angry national essence burst out of their mouths. Even if you eat a yellow card, 18 was actually pitted by his teammates. The question is, why can't you Suyasi fake it yourself? Do you have to pull me? The best pit teammate of the year award is given to you. Jiang Ning glanced at Suyasi coldly, and that look seemed to penetrate people's hearts. Don't play these little tricks in front of me. The acting skills still have to be practiced, and this can't fool me. If there is another time, I will also give you a yellow card warning for going out. After that, Jiang Ning no longer cared about Suyasi, and directly turned around and left. Suyasi shrunk his head and spread his hands. He originally thought that as long as his movements were hidden enough, he should not be discovered. What's more, the big deal is that you can't fool the referee, and it's just a 2-sentence warning from the referee, which is not a loss. But I never thought Jiang Ning was so rigid and ruthless. Directly give Cavani a yellow card that rolls on the ground. In other words, other judges will definitely not be like this. This referee from Huaxia is difficult to understand. After playing so many games, I have never seen such a referee. Now Suyasi is really afraid. Don't dare to be careful. At least, don't dare to play careful thinking under the referee of this Huaxia. Syllable. At this time, Edinson slapped Suyasi's head hard, angry, and corrupted. You idiot, make me eat a yellow card. Look at the good things you did. Edinson cursed angrily. I'm not also trying to get a free kick. It's all for the team. Then why don't you fake your own fall? Suyasi was a little weak-hearted, and was slapped on this smart little head melon by Edins. There was no way to be slapped and slapped, so I had to shrink my head and run away, not daring to speak. Otherwise, the angry and corrupted Cavani is likely to give him another look back. At this time, the game is still in progress. Because the football was destroyed out of the sideline by the Fruit-Tooth team players just now, the ball is still owned by the Ukrainian team at this time. The Ukrainian team threw out the ball out of bounds, and after the teammates took it, it was still the point to find the two strikers Cavani and Suyasi. Unfortunately, neither of them got a good chance, and in the end, the football was cut off by the players of the Fruit-Tooth team, and then handed over to the goalkeeper for confiscation. Attack and defense had changed again, and this time, when the Fruit-Tooth team held the ball, the Ukrainian team's front also began to change somewhat. The players on the back line of the Ukrainian team are very vigilant, including the midfielders, who have also pressed the front back a lot. Obviously, the head coach of the Ukrainian team is directing on the sidelines, and there have been some changes in tactics on the spot. After being equalized, overtaken, and then equalized, the Ukrainian team also made some corresponding adjustments. Play it safe. Boom. The football was trampled underfoot by Silva, the midfield commander of the Fruit-Tooth team. Silva looked up and observed the situation in the field, and also frowned slightly. Almost every breach is watched. Among them, Sigong and Felix are even more targeted. Trying to pass the ball to find their point obviously won't work. Soon, this excellent midfield commander made a decision. He wants to carry the ball straight forward. No good chance to pass, right? It's okay, I'll rush myself. Opportunities one create myself. Just as Silva burst in with the ball, the Sigong and Felix at the front also immediately took action. The two forwards do this, one to create chances, and the other to attract the attention of the opposing defenders. In this way, even if they don't have a better chance, Silva can be easier. At the same time, Andre, who returned to midfield support, also quickly stepped forward. The defensive attention of the Ukrainian team is on the Sigong and Felix, but don't forget that Andre is also a good striker. So Andre's chance came. At this moment, Andre showed excellent physical fitness and extremely keen awareness of the field. When Andre started, Silva's eyes lit up. He suddenly slowed down and then slammed his toes to pick the football out. Silva still chose to pass. That's the consciousness of a good midfielder. As soon as you have a good opportunity, give out an assist immediately. Shout. The football jumped high and past the defenders of the Ukrainian country, which is a ball behind him. This pass is extremely sudden, because the players in Ukraine thought that Hilda would dribble directly outside the box, but he didn't expect that he suddenly got up halfway through the ball. The sudden cross from behind him directly crossed the entire defense line of the Wu Kingdom. And at this time Andre, with his excellent running speed, penetrated the Ukrainian back line, and no one could catch up with him. Another great opportunity to make a contribution. On the court, sometimes it is not suppressing and fighting, but relying on the flash of light, relying on the sudden stroke of God, and, of course, the ability to seize opportunities. Apparently, Andre caught it. Once or twice such a ball can seal the victory. Andre's eyes become extremely focused, serious than ever. The football crosses the sky and slowly falls. At this time, the road in front of the goal is smooth, no one interferes. The goalkeeper of the Ukrainian country subconsciously chased out, to stop Andre from shooting. But Andre has already exploded with full power at this time. I saw Andre roar, taking the lead in the goalkeeper of the Ukrainian team 900, and volleyed before the football landed. This time there were no surprises, and the football easily skimmed past the goalkeeper and then got into the net. The ball went in, ha ha ha. Got in. Today's glory belongs to me, Andre. Score. I am the hero of the Fruit Tooth team. Kong busy, cheer, cheer for me, don't pity me, shout for me madly. After the goal, Andre opened his arms and rushed to the sidelines alone, making a kneeling celebratory gesture. His face was full of excitement and pride, and the action of waving his arm to the audience meant, louder, don't stop, give me high high. Cheers to me. Andre was overjoyed and enjoyed the goal on the sidelines alone. However, he didn't notice that he had been celebrating alone for so long. Why didn't any teammates come to celebrate with him? At this time, the fans of the Fruit Tooth team covered their faces, with an expression that I didn't know this fool, and couldn't bear to look directly. The players of the Ukrainian team also looked at each other, and some did not understand what this Andre was doing. Could it be that his ears are deaf? Isn't he going to look back? Didn't see the linesman raise the flag. Is he offside with this ball? Does he really think he scored? I'm afraid this fool isn't here to be funny, right? In addition, the lineman on the sidelines also looked at Andre's back with a puzzled face, and the linesman even looked at his hands with some uncertainty and confirmed himself. Have you raised the flag? But what is this guy on the sidelines celebrating? Episode 112. Jiang Ning is known as a man with a microscope to enforce the law. Andre is still immersed in the beautiful world of himself. He didn't notice the strange gazes that were thrown at him. Especially his selfless realm unexpectedly made the linesman a little unconfident in the heart of the porter. Am I not raising the flag? I raised the flag. I'm sure I raised it, so obviously he can't see? I'm afraid this person is not a fool. Shouldn't all the players on the fruit team be like this? Should I remind him, isn't it good to interrupt his self-indulgence like this? No, it seems too cruel. Let the referee remind him. The teammates of the Fruit Tooth team covered their faces one after another, and hurriedly, don't overdo it. Shame, shame, Andre really let himself go today. Since the face ball entered, Andre's painting style has gradually turned his mouth wide open, looking at his teammate, who has some difficult brains. For a while, even he was a little overwhelmed. How to describe this feeling? Even after a lot of battles, he didn't know whether to laugh or get angry. At this time, Jiang Ning stood on the sidelines, very humane, and did not rush to blow the whistle to remind him. There is indeed some drama in this scene. There is no doubt that this scene is destined to become a famous scene of this game, and even for a long time to come, it will be widely spread. What? Only then did Andre faintly realize that something was wrong. He turned his head and looked at his teammates, and also at the players of Wugwa. Finally he reacted and saw the linesman raise the flag in his hand. What? Am I offside? Am I offside? Why not say it earlier? Why didn't anyone remind me? Then I didn't look like a fool just now. Andre had a question mark on his face. At this time, he really understood what was going on, and he also knew how humiliating his actions were just now. What a shame too. Andre covered his face and did not dare to look up again. Just now, he enjoyed every sound and every gaze of the audience, but now, he only prays in his heart that everyone will not look at him. He just wants to dig a hole immediately and come out after the World Cup. But what he didn't know was that this scene had been broadcast live in real time by the World Cup director. Andre, thoroughly famous. Beep, Jiang Ning whistle. Signal the game to continue, because when Silva passed the ball just now, Andre was in an offside position. So Jiang Ning awarded a free kick to the Ukrainian team. In fact, after VAR's picture, Andre's offside just now was only a hint. But Jiang Ning's rigor and fairness are famous, and he is even jokingly called carrying a microscope. A super judge who won't let go even if he is physically offside. If this offside hadn't happened in the World Cup, it is quite possible that Andre's goal would have been valid. However, there are no ifs in this world, and at the same time, there is Jiang Ning on the field of this World Cup. So Andre's goal was blown off just now, and the score was still 2-2. At this time, Uzbekistan launched a free kick and organized an attack. Football soon came to Cavani's feet. After Cavani won the football, he began to quickly deploy troops, directing his teammates to run. Because the Fruit Tooth team has a solid defense, if you want to tear this defense, you must create chaos by running and passing. And chaos represents opportunity. Shout. After Cavani made a feint to forcibly break through, he pushed with his feet and passed the football to Suyasi, who ran behind him to pick up. After receiving the ball, Suyasi took a few steps to the bottom line and successfully diverted the attention of the defenders. It's now. Suyasi's eyes lit up. When he attracts the attention of the other party, there is a short gap in front of Cavani. Boom. Suyas made a crotch pass and sent the football to the feet of Cavani again. Another tacit cooperation between the two. Cavani spotted the ball being passed and immediately glanced up at his teammates directly in front of the goal. Someone answered. Golden opportunity. Edinson Cavani immediately picked up on his tiptoes and made a gesture to pass the ball. At the same time, Suyasi had also taken the opportunity to get rid of the defense, quickly ran in front of the goalkeeper of the Fruit Tooth team, and jumped high. The goalkeeper of the Fruit Tooth team changed his face suddenly. He knew something was going to happen, because after Suyas jumped, the goalkeeper found his view blocked. He can't see the football at Cavani's feet. Obviously, it is not the first time that Suyas and Cavani have made such a cooperation, and the two must have planned and practiced special before. One person is responsible for blocking the view of the goalkeeper, and the other is responsible for shooting. It is not difficult to guess through Swasi's movements that since he has come to cover the goalkeeper, then Cavani's kick will definitely not be a pass. It's a shot. Shout. Really, the moment Suyas jumped, the goalkeeper's view was blocked, and Edinson Cavani almost simultaneously shot the football into the far corner of the goal. Fake fact shooting. The real purpose is the far corner of the goal. This shot is not too advanced, because it is a pick and shoot with enough height, but the speed must not be too fast. If the goalkeeper can see Cavani's whole set of moves, he will definitely make a save in time. But the problem is, the goalkeeper can't see it. The ball jumped high and hoisted into the upper corner of the goal. With the position of the other players of the Fruit Tooth team, there is simply no time to resist, and it is difficult to reach. No one can stop it. Shout. After jumping high, the ball slowly flew towards the goal, and began to fall when approaching the goal. According to this falling arc, it is no problem to score a goal. What's worse, at this time, the goalkeeper of the Fruit Tooth team was still standing in place, stunned. The fans of the Ukrainian team stood up with excitement. They subconsciously clenched their hands into fists, opened their mouths wide, and were ready to cheer. This is a must score. However, at this time, the figure of the upper road came from the upper mill to the courtyard and was Pepe. The central defender of the Fruit Tooth team is also a tough style and a hot temper, but an extremely good defensive player. It is precisely because of his defensive style and violent temper that he is called Martial Monk PPI by the majority of Huaxia fans. This title is to reflect Pepe's defensive ability and strong style. At the moment of the attack, in the shocked eyes of everyone, Pepe ran 1 meter at great speed. Then there was a barb in midair, which kicked out the football that was already on the edge of the goal line. Boom! The football was destroyed and picked up, and it was quickly relieved by Fruity's teammates. Both Cavani and Suyas were stunned. Almost at the same time, they made the same expression and the same movement, and they hugged their heads with disappointed hands. The fans of the Ukrainian team also roared in disappointment at the scene. That's a 99.99% goal to score. Pepe's emergency relief, a barb smashed on the football, which is equivalent to smashing on the hearts of all Ukrainian fans. It's a critical hit. Even if Edinson directly knocks the ball away, or kicks the goalpost, they won't be so uncomfortable. However, at this time, the football that was released had come to the feet of Fruit Tooth fullback Ken Hanlo. This excellent fullback naturally will not miss this opportunity to fight back. He quickly organized a quick attack. Go ahead. Boom. Football should soar. At the same time, the Sigong standing in the front has already launched the luck. The counterattack of the Fruit Tooth team is here again. Episode 113 is fast and handsome. In the arena, the attack and defense were instantly transformed. Fullback Cancelo passed the football out at the first time and rushed to the half of the Ukrainian team. And the Sigong is also running at great speed at this time. At this moment, the explosive power of the Sigong, the perception of football, and the rich experience of the game are fully displayed. Sigong is using his excellent personal ability to tell fans around the world that he can still run and is still at his peak. Football is coming. Sigong ran wildly while looking back at the sky. He's adjusting his movement to the trajectory of the football. This action, if left to other players, will definitely affect the speed. But he's a Sigong. Is the strongest king. He is watching the trajectory of football while still maintaining a very fast speed. Like a bolt of lightning, resemble a cheetah. The faces of the defenders of Wugwa have changed greatly. They felt a strong sense of oppression at this moment. This may seem unbelievable. After all, there is only one person. How scary can a person be? They have 4 defenders on the floor. 4 people can't stop one person? If you have such thoughts, it is because you have never faced the impact of the Sigong. Speed, eyes, momentum, and running position are all top-notch. Every step is approaching and warning them. The invisible oppressive force impacted the hearts of the Ukrainian defense players. In addition, there are 3 players behind the Sigong who are struggling to catch up. But no matter how hard they try, the 720 can't catch up, and they always keep a certain distance from the Sigong. The football falls quickly. Sigong footsteps, in the moment the football landed, with the ball turned, perfect to remove the impact of football. Immediately after that, the Sigong does not stop, and rushes forward with the ball. Long distance attack, stage a good show of riding alone. Just like entering the army of 10,000 people, you can also take the first rank of enemy general. In the blink of an eye, Sigong has rushed to the penalty area line of the Ukrainian team with the ball. Sigong, Sigong, Sigong. It's too strong, although the veteran is late, but it is still so stable at the critical time. That's the value of a star, the right starting price. Rush the Sigong, take another ball. The audience erupted into screams and shouts. The fans of the Fruit Tooth team are boiling. The speed and momentum that Sigong burst out at this time led the world football. Even if he is 37 years old, he still can't catch up with the young players in Wugwa behind him. At this time, there are 4 defensive players in front of Sigong. He can't stop, because he knows very well that once he stops, the 3 Ukrainian players behind him will also catch up. At that time, he will face the encirclement and interception of many people. This is a hard-won counterattack opportunity, and it is also a good opportunity for Fruit Tooth to get close to the round of 16 of this World Cup. Therefore, the time has come for him to keep rushing and show his ability beyond the 4 defenders in front of him. All the hard work and all the inspiration in my mind exploded in this instant. Shout. I saw that the foot of the Sigong was extremely fast, and it accelerated instantly. This action is done in one go, extremely fast. It can be said that the whole pause to acceleration, I'm afraid it didn't exceed 1 second. But it was such a meal and an acceleration that let the Ukrainian defenders who forcibly slipped in front of them shovel empty. At the same time, because of this player's shovel, the Ukrainian players chasing behind him were also startled and quickly dodged. Otherwise, if the two collide together, someone will definitely be injured. The Ukrainian player behind him who made a dodge motion also slipped and fell to the ground because of the unstable center of gravity. With just one move, you can solve 2 opponents in front and back. All this seems to have been designed in advance, perfectly showing the instant computing power of the Sigong. Boom! Immediately afterwards, the Sigong is a bucket under the feet, and the power of dribbling instantly increases. The rolling of the football also suddenly accelerates because of this action, and after doing all this, Sigong jumped with both feet, both the football, and he managed to pass through the interception of a defensive player again. Succeeded in passing 2 people, and still at extremely high speeds. What superb ball skills and strong ball sense this is. But that's not the end of it. The last 2 players joined forces. One left and one right forced the bag up. The 2 blocked almost all the routes of Sigong. There are only 2 options for Sigongs, either keep rushing or retreat to the side, but once you withdraw to the side, it means that the speed of the forward rush will slow down. Sigong naturally does not want to shout. Sigong's eyes were extremely focused, and while running, he stared at the feet of the opposing defenders. Boom! Suddenly, the Sigong pushed the football violently, and the football immediately accelerated, and it rushed towards the defender under the control of the Sigong. The defensive player's pupils contracted instantly, but at this time it was too late for him to close his feet. Boom! I saw the football hit the defensive player's foot, and then there was a rebound. It is precisely because of this rebound that the football that was originally close to the ground has a slight liftoff and comes to the height of a normal person's knee. After the football rebounds, it rebounds back in the direction of the Sigong with precision. And at this time, the gong has jumped slightly in front of him. The football landed precisely on the ankle of the Sigong in midair. The jump of the Sigong also perfectly avoided the interception of the 2 defenders. Success! One person broke through the entire defense line of the country of Ukraine. It's fast and handsome. Boom! Sigong falls with football, and in front of him, there is an empty green. 1 goalkeeper, 1 open goal. Shout! Sigong did not hesitate and pushed the ball into the net with an easy kick. The ball went in. Jiang Ning also appeared on the court 1 step earlier, and then with a finger of his arm, the goal was effective. The score is rewritten. 3-2. The Fruit Tooth team is leading again. Rumble. The whole audience exploded. The cheers and shouts broke through the clouds, floating over Shauha Stadium, and even the fans of Uzbekistan couldn't help but marvel at this ball. Long-distance attack, single ride, flashing and moving. With his personal ability, Sigong has killed a bloody road, and he deserves the name of a star, a veritable pillar of the Fruit Tooth team, spiritual leader. At this time, in the Huaxia studio, Huang Jianxiang and Lu Han couldn't help but let out a roar. Huang Jianxiang scored twice. The ball went in. Sigong. It's the Sigong again. Lu Han, beautiful passing, calm pushing. The personal ability of Sigong is perfectly displayed at this moment. Huang Jianxiang, who said that Sigong is old? Who said that the Sigong will not work? Huang Jianxiang, he is still him. This goal just now is the best proof. Lu Han, yes. The 3 goals of the Fruit Tooth team are all directly related to the Sigong. Lu Han, the first and third were both direct goals from him, and the second was his assist. Lu Han, although Andre did not seize the opportunity at that time, the teammate's supplementary shot still scored. This is also the credit of the Sigong. Huang Jianxiang, Sigong perfectly explains what is called a leader, what is a hero, and what is called a great player. Huang Jianxiang, when the Fruit Tooth team was in crisis, it was Sigong who stood up and led the Fruit Tooth team to overcome difficulties and launch a general attack towards the dream. Lu Han, the Fruit Tooth team is now 1 goal ahead, and this goal may be the best help for them to get close to the round of 16. Huang Jianxiang, although Xigong is 37 years old, although he will seem a little weak at some point. Huang Jianxiang, however, his dominance of the stadium is still strong. Huang Jianxiang, he is still that king. Huang Jianxiang, this is his last World Cup. I also hope that it is the one in which he fulfills his dream. Lu Han, now the game has reached 35 minutes in the second half, even if you add injury time, there will be no more than 15 minutes left. Lu Han, the Fruit-Tooth team is one step closer to advancing to the round of 16. Huang Jianxiang, I also hope that the Ukrainian team can make some changes at the last moment. Huang Jianxiang, because the Ukrainian national team will also be the unhappiness of many fans. Huang Jianxiang, there is still time for the game, until the last moment, everything is possible. Lu Han, yes, now let's take a look at the interaction in the live broadcast room. Episode 114, is outrageous, whistling 9 times in 2 minutes, 3 yellow cards in a row. Ask for subscription, ask for customization, ask for full determination. Inside the Huaxia live broadcast room, because of the Xigong, the barrage in the live broadcast room became dense again. It has to be the president. The Fruit-Tooth team must enter the round of 16. Is Wuwa going home? I like Suyasi, but it's a pity. No, from today, I like the star I like, will also add Andre. He is too funny, very interesting player. Andre contracted my laughter for a year, ha 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 ha. Seriously, when he found out that his expression after being offside was extinguished, the actor couldn't play that sense of shame, the actor who was delayed by kicking. It's not good to play in the next Wugwa. I'm afraid the players will be in a hurry. It's okay to be in a hurry, but warmly remind, don't foul. Oh, don't forget that the referee is our brother Ning of Huaxia. The audience in the live broadcast room was completely ignited by this football game. That's the charm of football, that's the charm of stars. Sports competition is always so blood-boiling, making people watch the excitement at this time, in the arena. The Fruit-Tooth team celebrates warmly. Xigong also made his own classic celebratory pose, jumping forward, facing away from the audience, and pointing out diagonally downwards with his hands at a 45-degree angle. The other players ran towards him and rushed up to cheer him in celebration. The ball came too timely and too critical, putting the score ahead of the opponent. The advantage that the Fruit-Tooth team has achieved because of this ball is unmatched. Plus the game time has come to 80 minutes at this time. There is not much time left, and the Fruit-Tooth team can completely slow down the offensive again and make more passes in the field to delay time. Looking at the Ukrainian national team here, it is completely different from the happy atmosphere of the Fruit-Tooth team, and the players are gloomy, and there is anxiety written in their eyes. They are lagging behind, and to be behind with little time to play, it affects the morale of the teams. The original advantage has disappeared, and now there is not even a draw. Are they really saying goodbye to this World Cup? No. Unwillingly. No compromises. Even if you have the last minute left, the opportunities are endless. Suyas and Edinson are at the front of the line, the eyes of the two burned with longing and fighting spirit. The last 10 minutes, they have to fight. Beep, Jiang Ning sounded the whistle, signaling that the game continued. The ball of football came to the feet of the Ukrainian team. The Ukrainian players quickly approached with the ball, and the pace also accelerated significantly. Their hearts are anxious. Next, it will definitely be the most ferocious time for the Uzbek country to fight and attack. The head coach of the Fruit-Tooth team also knows this, and constantly waves his hand on the sidelines to signal the front to press back, and must keep an eye on the next wave of attacks of the Ukrainian team. The truth is indeed developing in the direction expected. After the Ukrainian team took the ball, the army pressed up, and the soldiers came to the city. The movements of all the players of the Ukrainian team have sped up a lot. They are really in a hurry, and their mentality has begun to change. Almost all of the players of the Fruit-Tooth team also shrunk back. It is bound to block the bombardment of the Ukrainian team. The eyes of the Ukrainian players burned with fighting intent and unyielding, and they all fought hard and shot crazy as soon as they found an opportunity. Boom. 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 A succession of consecutive shots on goal were blocked by the defenders and goalkeepers of the Fruit-Tooth team. The players of the Ukrainian team are becoming more and more eager, and although the number of shots has increased, they have never posed a great threat. Be scatterbrained. All the players want to fight hard at the last minute to tie the score for the team. But this caused the offensive line of the Ukrainian country to become chaotic. Don't look at the constant attack, but the real efficiency is decreasing. Boom. The last shot, the football flew off the field under the long-range shot of a midfielder in Ukraine, and from this non-threatening and meaningless long-range shot, it can be seen that the mentality of the Ukrainian players is already a little strained. At this time, it is the 83rd minute of regular time of the game. In other words, this wave of offensive of the Ukrainian team bombarded the goal of the Fruit-Tooth team for 3 minutes. But now, as soon as the ball is lost, the disadvantage of the Ukrainian team is reflected. Because the Fruit-Tooth team is ahead, naturally it will not be in a hurry to talk about attacking. In this level of play, the team will walk carefully every step of the way, so after the offensive and defensive conversion, the Fruit-Tooth team began to control the ball in the midfield, and there was no intention to advance at all. The Fruit-Tooth team is not in a hurry, does not mean that the Ukrainian team is not in a hurry. Damn it, up, go and grab it. All pressed up. The players of the Ukrainian team couldn't help it. With only the last few minutes left in the game, it may well be their last minutes in this World Cup. So at this moment, they are no longer patient, and they can no longer endure. The players of the Ukrainian team pressed hard and began to press madly, and under such an eager compulsion, the action in the hand is naturally not small. Beep. Jiang Ning immediately sounded his whistle and issued a solemn warning to the players of the Uruguay team. Just now, the pressing action of the Ukrainian players has already crossed the line. This is also good because the fruit-toothed team did not advance and did not organize an attack. Otherwise, Jiang Ning would not hesitate to pull out the cards. However, the game has reached this time, and Jiang Ning's warning is obviously difficult to work. Even if they are sent off, they have to make the last game. So Suyas took the lead and rushed up, trying to cut off the football from the feet of Silva of the fruit-toothed team. Seeing this, Silva immediately turned over with the ball and blocked Suyasi with his own body. Boom! Suyasi was in a hurry, and directly leaned out from behind Silva, kicking Silva to the ground. Beep. Jiang Ning's expression was cold. He ran over quickly, took out a yellow card and showed it to Suyasi. Suyasi glanced at Jiang Ning unwillingly, and could only grit his teeth and retreat. But then, the fruit-toothed team has been passing the ball in the midfield, and the Ukrainian team has also been crazy rushing up by players. They fought frantically and exhausted all means, so the players of the fruit-toothed team are also falling one after another. In this short 2-minute period, Jiang Ning sounded the whistle 9 times and showed 3 yellow cards to the Ukrainian team players. Boom! Another kick. Finally, in the 87th minute of the game, the fruit-toothed team found the loophole of the Ukrainian team and passed the football out. The Ukrainian team hurriedly turned around to catch up and defended with all its might. Because of the previous pressing, the Ukrainian team's front pressed too far ahead, and naturally, there were many holes in the defensive line. Silva was keenly aware of this and sent the ball to Felix with a long pass. Felix is young and strong, and his physical strength is still abundant at this time. So after seeing the ball coming, he immediately launched a response and took the football steadily. However, before he could run, a flying shovel of the Ukrainian team player shoveled him to the ground. The Ukrainian team is now a little desperate. The urgency of their hearts has exceeded reason. Whether it is the fans on the scene or the fans watching this match through the major live broadcast rooms, they can clearly sense the urgency of the Ukrainian team players. At this time, all the fans will no longer blame the Ukrainian team players for whether this flying tackle is right or wrong, whether it will hurt others. Because even if they were just watching the battle, that tension and urgency infected them. This is a battlefield without gunsmoke, but it is not at all crueler than the real battlefield. With a whistle, Jiang Ning ran over, showed a yellow card to the defender of Uruguay, and immediately showed a red card. 2 yellows turned into 1 red, and the Ukrainian team was also sent off. Jiang Ning took out the spray and drew a semicircle on the ground. Fruit-Tooth won a well-placed free kick in front. Immediately afterwards, the fans of the Fruit-Tooth team at the scene shouted madly, because they saw that Hui Luo walked before the free kick. It's the Sigong that is coming to punish the beggar. Episode 115. Jiang Ning's arm front finger, handsome world wave. The game has been played in the last minutes of regular time. Sigong slowly walked to the front of the football amid the cheers of tens of thousands of Fruit-Tooth fans. This free kick is suitable for Sigong to take the penalty. Whether it is the position, angle, distance, it is extremely comfortable for Sigong. Many fans at the scene had a frenzy in their eyes. Because of this free kick, it reminded them of that night 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it was also in the World Cup. It was a life-and-death battle with the Western Banya, but at that time, Fruit-Tooth was 2:3 behind the West Half-Tooth. In the final injury time, Fruit-Tooth also got a free kick in front, and that free kick is very similar to this free kick at this moment. Even the position is almost the same. 4 years ago, Sigong used a super world wave that shocked the 4 seats and completely flattened the West Banya. 4 years later, can Sigong score another goal in this position and completely seal the victory for Fruit? Phew! Sigong exhaled a long breath, and his eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. At this moment, he couldn't help but recall the battle 4 years ago. But 4 years ago, he was alone carrying the banner of Fruit-Teeth and carrying the weight forward. But now, Fruit-Tooth has also appeared one excellent player after another. This may be his last World Cup. What makes him happy is that after the end of this World Cup, no matter whether he has fulfilled his dream or not, he will not have to worry about the future of Fruit-Tooth at that time. He can safely hand over the heavy responsibility on his shoulders to his juniors, because they are all good enough. However, Sigong quickly came to his senses. Now is not the time to think about this. His dream continues. Fruit-Tooth will enter the round of 16 with its head held high, one step closer to his dream. And what he has to do at this time is to put this free kick into the goal of the Ukrainian country. Gradually, Sigong's eyes become fierce, and even become full of murderous aura. Boom! With the help of the Sigong, jump step, volley, the completion of the movements is very smooth and the attack power is very strong. The football is driven and flies. Shout. The football forms a graceful arc, drawing an exaggerated arc and crossing the human wall. Immediately afterwards, the football left an S-shaped afterimage in midair and rushed towards the goal. Arc ball. dragon swinging tail, swish. Both the spectators on the pitch and the fans in front of the screen are watching the ball. This ball touches the hearts of countless people. And then under everyone's gaze, the football rushes into the dead end and burrows into the net. The ball went in. Jiang Ning's arm front finger. The goal is effective. 4-2. The score was rewritten again. Sigong sealed the throat with a sword, completely killing the suspense of the game. No way, the Ukrainian team could not have scored 2 goals in the remaining minutes. The Fruit-Tooth team sealed the win. Rumble, this ball is beautiful, it's so handsome. What an arc, this arc is going to destroy the will of the opponent. There is not much time left, and this victory will surely belong to us Fruity. You can always choose to believe in Mr. C, it's too reliable, it's different with him on the field. The whole stadium erupted into a heaven-shaking sound, as if it was going to overturn the entire stadium. The fans of the Fruit-Tooth team celebrated wildly, and some even burst into tears with excitement. Their hearts are filled with all kinds of emotions. There is excitement, there is happiness, there is gratification, and at the same time, there is reluctance to see Gong. In short, being able to see this super world wave of Sigong again is a precious memory that they will never forget. Ha ha ha. Attaboy. Well done. Andre smiled, ran over excitedly, jumped on the back of the Sigong excitedly, hugged him tightly, and couldn't wait to peck a few bites on his face. Sigong also opened his hands and felt the cheers of the fans watching the scene. His heart breathed a sigh of relief. He did it. One step closer to the dream. On the other hand, the Ukrainian team here is a dead silence. The players' eyes were silent, silently watching the crazy celebration of the Fruit-Tooth team, and their hearts were mixed. Beep. At this time, Jiang Ning sounded the whistle and signaled that the Fruit-Tooth team was going to be replaced. Everyone looked and saw the main referee holding up the card, and the Sigong was about to be replaced. His task has been completed and the game is out of suspense. Therefore, Santos immediately removed the Sigong to avoid injuries in the last few minutes. Whoops. The fans of the Fruit-Tooth spontaneously applauded. The applause was very soft, not as turbulent as the previous shouts, but only gentle gazes and gentle wishes. The fans of the Fruit-Tooth team are sending the spiritual leader of the Fruit-Tooth team in the most gentle way. Sigong raised his hands high, and also gently applauded, and turned back 3 times to express his gratitude to the puzzlers. Immediately afterwards, he went to the sidelines, removed the captain's armband from his shoulder and handed it to the players on the new field. This moment is the transformation of the old and the new, and it is also an inheritance of responsibility. He can finally smile with relief and face his future. At this time, in the Huaxia studio, Huang Jianxiang and Lu Han watched silently at the scene of Sigong walking down in the picture, and their hearts were also a little touched. Huang Jianxiang, okay, after all, it is nearing the end of the process. Huang Jianxiang, with a long swing from the Sigong, the Fruit-Tooth team scored again, and the score was already 4-2. Huang Jianxiang, we can see that after this goal, Santos, the head coach of the Fruit-Tooth team, replaced the Sigong for the 10th time. Lu Han, yes, the Sigong came off, and the fans saw him off. Lu Han, Sigong's performance today was perfect. He is the undisputed leader of the Fruit-Tooth team. Lu Han, even, his existence has been similar to that of a head coach, and has surpassed the level of players. Huang Jianxiang, well, I don't know why, when I saw the Sigong deliver the captain's armband, I felt a little inexplicably sad. Lu Han, me too, because Sigong is our youth. Lu Han, he is old, which means that our youth is also going far away, and it will only exist in memory in the future. Huang Jianxiang, although today is only the group stage, seeing Sigong come off the bench and seeing that he can't gallop all over the game like before. Huang Jianxiang, seeing his expectant eyes for juniors, that relieved smile. Huang Jianxiang, especially when he took off the captain's armband. Huang Jianxiang, Sigong seems to accept the fact that he is aging. Lu Han, yes, the reason why he can accept it with relief is because the Fruit-Tooth team has produced many excellent players. Lu Han, his responsibility can already be shared for him. Lu Han, he no longer has to worry that when he gets old, the Fruit-Tooth team will be lonely. 3.6. Lu Han, he is relieved, because he feels proud and happy for the current Fruit-Tooth team. Huang Jianxiang, although today is only the group stage, I seem to have seen the day when Sigong Lao leaves us. Huang Jianxiang, he completed his mission and entrusted the heavy responsibility on his shoulders to his juniors. Huang Jianxiang, and as he ages, there are still us. Huang Jianxiang, this is the last World Cup of Sigong, but I believe it will also be the best one. Huang Jianxiang, come on Sigong. Launch a total attack towards your dreams. No regrets. Lu Han, okay, now we have a little last bit of time left in our game. Lu Han, let's focus on the game first. Lu Han, after the game is over, I believe that whether it is Mr. Huang Jianxiang or the majority of fans and friends, there will be a lot to say about this game. Huang Jianxiang, yes, let's see if there will be any surprises in the last few minutes of this game. Episode 116. Today is another day when Brother Ning is out of the circle. It's amazing. On the playing field, when Sigong was replaced, Jiang Ning also signaled to the assistant referee, and he was injured for 6 minutes in the second half. Beep. Jiang Ning sounded the whistle, signaling that the game continued. The ball is at the feet of Ukraine, but at this time, there were only 6 minutes left, and even if they were anxious, they were already unable to return to the sky. What's more, the Fruit-Tooth team has obviously contracted the front completely, intending to hold on to this last bit of time. In the face of such a defense, the Ukrainian country said that it was 6 minutes, even if it was 16 minutes, or even 26 minutes, it was difficult to catch up with 2 goals. But that's it, they won't give up either. As long as the game time is not over, there is hope. The football was passed to Suaz's feet. After Suaz took the ball, he quickly ran with the ball. Just running and running, his eyes were red. Cavani opened his mouth, and the hand that originally wanted to signal him to pass the ball also slowly lowered. Boom! Suaz endured his grief and handed the ball to Cavani's feet. Edinson Cavani continued to look for opportunities and then forced the shot. It's a pity that football still flew out of the bottom line. In the last 6 minutes, most of the football control was at the feet of the Ukrainian team. It's just that although the Ukrainian team has been trying to find a way to break through and attack, it still failed to pry open the goal of the fruit-toothed team in the end. Time passes slowly. Despite their desperation, they could not change the outcome. That's the beauty of football. By the last minute of injury time, Edinson Cavani of the Ukrainian team also had red eyes. He raised his head and tried to keep the tears from falling. But at this time, the brightness in the sky was so dazzling, it hurt his eyes, and tears couldn't help but flow. Beep. 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 Finally, Jiang Ning blew the whistle for the end of the game, signaling the end of the game. This life-and-death battle between the fruit-toothed team and the Ukrainian team has come to an end. Win, win, victory is our water brother tooth, right? This game is so exciting, this ticket is worth the money. Win this one and lock up the round of 16. Oh class, oh class, oh class, oh class. The fruit-toothed team was in a joyous mood, and the fans sang loudly, using their last strength, shouting hoarsely. But none of this matters. Importantly, the fruit-toothed team made it to the round of 16. Even if you shout and break your throat, it's worth it. Compared with the sorrow and silence of the fans of the Ukrainian national team, it is really one side of heaven and one side of hell. The fans of the Ukrainian team were silent. Many fans cried silently, crying into tears. They have witnessed the glory of the Ukrainian team and also witnessed its trough. At this moment, victory or defeat is no longer important. The tears they shed were for Suyasi, Kokoni, and several other veterans, because it's their last World Cup. After today, they will bid farewell to the World Cup stage once and for all. After today, they will no longer be seen running in the World Cup. For years later, the US-Canada-Mexico World Cup, perhaps the Ukrainian team can come to this step again, or even further, and create glory and glory again. However, Suaz and Edinson can no longer be seen sweating on the field. Perhaps gradually, people will forget their contribution to the Ukrainian team. Even, people will forget about their existence. Because this world is like this, there will always be people who leave with regrets. And there will always be people who are young and amazing. Some people are getting old, and there are always people who are young. At this moment, the fans are sad, because with the end of Suaz and Edinson Edens, there is also their youth. I remember Suaz's stunning free kick 12 years ago. I still remember the 4 years they spent with Wugwa. Suaz and Edinson are old, but what about them? Isn't it just as old? The years are always merciless, we are always powerless to resist. At this time, in the playing field, the players of the country stood in place dumbfounded, and for a while, they couldn't accept this cruel fact. Suyasi fell to the ground. He took off the players and covered his face. He held, and even from a long distance, his cries could be heard. Edinson came over, gently patted Suyasi's shoulder, and then sat down beside him. It's just that Edinson didn't open his mouth to comfort, because he himself was crying at this moment. They are old, and this is the last time to chase their dreams. It's just a pity that the dream failed. But life is like that, and who can guarantee that there will be no regrets? Syllable. Snap. Snap. Suddenly, at this time, Sigong slowly walked onto the arena. He walked up to Suaz and Cavani and applauded them sincerely. This is a feeling of sympathy, and it is also the respect of the Sigong in the twilight years of the same strong man to the opponent. Whoops. Gradually, with the applause of the Sigong, the players of the fruit-toothed team came one after another to applaud the players of the Ukrainian national team. Later, the fans of the fruit-toothed team also joined in, sending sincere wishes to this respectable opponent. Similarly, it is also to see off the curtain call of a generation of gods Cavani and Suyasi. In the end, the applause of the audience became louder and louder, and it was uniform. This was the last farewell for the fans, and the last cheers for them. Suaz and Edinson stood up and slowly looked around the audience. At this moment, their hearts were healed by this warmth. This is the most heartwarming power in football. Suyasi kissed the green under her feet affectionately, and finally strode towards the outside of the field. And looking at their departing backs, many fans couldn't help but cry. This is football, this is life, there will be regrets, but the memories left by doing your best will be cherished forever. At this time, in the Huaxia studio, Huang Jianxiang and Lu Han were also a little silent. They were also touched by this warm scene on the field. Huang Jianxiang, everyone, the game is over. Huang Jianxiang, we congratulate the fruit-toothed team for entering the round of 16 of this World Cup with their heads held high. Huang Jianxiang, at the same time, we also want to send off the departure of a generation of God-blade Cavani and Suyasi. Huang Jianxiang, they waved goodbye to the World Cup. Lu Han, yes, they are old, but the football spirit will never age, and the blood will always boil. Huang Jianxiang, their aging is also the curtain call for the youth of many fans. Huang Jianxiang, youth disappears with their departure, and never returns. Huang Jianxiang, but whether it is them, or our youth, they will always remain in the deepest part of the memory. Huang Jianxiang, maybe many years later, we will suddenly lose our laughter when we walk on the 587. Huang Jianxiang, passers-by will also cast doubtful and strange eyes at us. Huang Jianxiang, but we don't care, because only we know that the origin of this chuckle is actually very simple. Huang Jianxiang, we just suddenly remembered the memories of our youth and the youthful years. Lu Han, yes, their departure actually represents the change of years and the inheritance of generations of stars. Lu Han, Sigong, Edinson and Suyasi, strong men in their twilight years. Lu Han, even if he has a rock-like tenacity, he still looks pale and powerless in the face of the years. Lu Han, audience friends, let's watch and cherish it, because a generation of legends will eventually come to an end. Huang Jianxiang, yes, under the twilight of the gods, whose brilliance will finally float over Carl Stadium. Huang Jianxiang, let's look forward to more exciting competitions in the future. At this time, in the Huaxiao live broadcast room, the barrage is also rapidly refreshing. Brothers, please put your tears on the public screen. Woohoo! I will never see Su de teeth biting people in the future. A generation of legends will eventually come to an end, but there will always be people who are in their youth. Congratulations to the two divine fronts. Come on Sigong, the next game is looking forward to your play. Everyone be happy, at least we can still see Andres funny in the arena. Brother Ning, you also have to come on deck. We're back for the next game. Today is another day when Brother Ning is out of the circle. It's amazing. Jimei will work hard to protect Brother Ning. Episode 117. I'm not afraid in the face of Sigong, but referee Jiang Ning, you make me very scared on the court. This match between the Fruit-Tooth team and the country of Ukraine is over. Jiang Ning stood silently in place, and he also had some feelings in his heart. Today, both teams performed quite well, and the veterans also played their best. And the end of this game can be regarded as the beginning of another generation of players between the old and the new. Some left with regret, while others strode forward with their heads held high. But there is only one World Cup winner, and all the participating teams are competing. It's brutal, and strictly speaking, the remaining 31 teams are actually losers except for the champion. Of course, this loser is in quotation marks. Just like the Ukrainian team, although they fell on the way to the championship, they will always be heroes in the hearts of Ukrainian fans. And no matter how many regrets these tardy heroes have in their hearts, no matter how difficult the facts are to accept, they cannot be changed. As the chief referee, the only thing Jiang Ning can do is to provide them with absolutely fair and just judgments. At least at this point, it is possible for them not to leave regrets. Looking at this green field, I don't know when Chinese football can also be on the World Cup. After being silent for a while, Jiang Ning slowly walked to the sidelines. He needs to do some work notes with the assistant referee. Especially when there are red cards, the referee team needs to do some extra records. Because of a foul on the field, it's not that you've eaten a card. For example, for some egregious fouls, the referee needs to make a record after the game and hand it over to FIFA. At that time, FIFA will investigate the player's foul and finally give the corresponding punishment. For example, in today's game, there were a total of multiple yellow cards, and 2 players were sent off, all of which need to be handed in for record, including the video of the live match, the comprehensive advice given by the referee team, etc., will be handed over to FIFA for unified preservation. At this time, after a short break, the players on both sides also slowly left the field. When the players from both sides left the field, they all greeted Jiang Ning warmly when they passed by. Referee Jiang Ning, you are really too strict, and your pressure on the field is greater than the pressure on the opponent. You are so different from the other referees. Although your enforcement feels very stressful, I like you very much. Ha ha ha, I'm not afraid in the face of Sigong, but referee Jiang Ning, you make me very scared on the court, and I am afraid to pull out cards at any time. That's not it, this little card will give it. Jiang Ning's enforcement won the respective players on both sides. Many players passing by Jiang Ning will enthusiastically complain. The impartial law enforcement makes these players simply impressed by the Huaxiao referee, and they have never seen such a referee, which is too unique. Jiang Ning also joked with these people in a fluent foreign language. The next time you dare to commit a foul on the court, you will not hesitate to give cards. When both players are ready to leave, media reporters naturally rushed to find players from both teams for post-match interviews. One of the most watched is naturally the MVP player Sigong of this game. The reporter asked, "May I ask Sigong, do you have anything to say about this match with Wugua?" Well, they are opponents worthy of respect. There is no doubt that the strength of the Kingdom of Ukraine is undoubted, and they have also put the Fruit-Tooth team in a desperate situation. I enjoy playing with a strong team like this, I enjoy it. Saying that, Si Luo smiled slightly and glanced back at the players of the Ukrainian team who left. I'm thankful that our team narrowly beat them. The players of the Ukrainian team also performed very well today. They all did their best, and I hope that I will have the opportunity to meet them again in the future. Especially Suyas and Edinson Cavani. I hope they still have the opportunity to run in the World Cup. With the words of Sigong, the camera turned very cooperatively to the figures of Suyas and Cavani in the distance. The departure of these two strikers will also be difficult in the hearts of many fans. Reporter, then please ask Sigong, now that the Fruit-Tooth team has reached the top 16, what do you think of the next game? I'm looking forward to the games that follow. every team behind is a strong opponent. Fruit Teeth still has a long way to go in the future and will face a lot of strong opponents. Sigong's expression is calm, as a veteran who has played in many World Cups, but he is also looking forward to the opponents behind him. The World Cup is home to the strongest teams in the world, and there are no weak brigades here. Reporter, for example? Do you have a player or team that you particularly want to play against? Reporter, or is there an opponent that even you find difficult to defeat? Of course there will be, but I don't feel like anyone is invincible, including myself. What we can do is to do our best, do higher, faster, stronger sports spirit, and strive not to leave regrets. Speaking of this, Sigong smiled at the camera. He continued, if you want to talk about the opponents you are looking forward to, of course, it is Messi and Neymar, and Mbappé. They are all mandatory and would love to have the opportunity to exchange skills with them on the pitch. Reporter, last question, many viewers want to know, will this really be your last World Cup? When asking this question, the reporter's heart couldn't help but feel a little tight, because before this, there were other journalists who asked such questions about Sigong. It's just that Sigong did not answer positively, and even showed some resistance, but this is a problem that countless fans are concerned about. As a journalist, she has to ask if she bites the bullet, because he also wanted to know if it was the best one. She also liked Sigong, liked the way he ran on the green field, and liked this old football. After hearing this question, Sigong was stunned at first, but soon laughed with relief. I hope I can continue to play in the next World Cup, but many times, not all of our wishes are fulfilled by God. If I can still run by then, I will definitely play. I love this green field. Or if the Fruit Tooth team still needs me in 4 years, and the country still needs me, I have no complaints and will give my all without hesitation. At this point, Guoluo no longer resisted answering this question. Although it is still not clear whether they will participate or not, many fans know in their hearts that the possibility of Sigong participating in the next World Cup is already very low. After all, the Sigong is now 37 years old. It's hard to imagine that the 4-year-old Sigong can continue to participate in such high-intensity events. In fact, whether it is Sigong or Neymar, Suyasi, etc., they have never clearly stated that they will not participate in the next World Cup. But fans know very well that this World Cup will be the last dance of many stars. But this World Cup is not over yet, and there will be more exciting games to come. So, now is not the time to be sad. As Sigong said, not only him, but also fans are also looking forward to the collision of many legendary players. Messi, Neymar, Mbappé, these are the top and hottest stars in football today. Each of them has a strong personal touch and playing style. For example, Neymar's agility and cool ball skills. For example, the speed that Mbappé can burst out when he is launched in an instant. For example, Messi's unparalleled dominance. When the strong meet, the duel between the king and the king will be the most wonderful picture of this World Cup. At this time, in the major live broadcast rooms, countless fans are reluctant to leave, and when they saw the interview with Sigong, they also issued barrage support. Sigong, you will always be the best player and we will always remember. Inheritance from generation to generation, new people for old people, they have all done well enough to accompany our entire youth. I'm really looking forward to it. If Sigong, Messi, Neymar, Mbappé, and they can meet in the arena, it will be the most exciting World Cup in history. When the next World Cup starts, there are a lot of veterans that we can't see. Then there will be many new faces to appear and occupy a new era. Tears, they are old, and we are old. And look and cherish it. I really can't see it in the future. Everyone cheer up, the next game will be more exciting. Episode 118. Get rewarded, the internet explodes. After Jiang Ning finished taking notes with the assistant referee on the sidelines, he turned away from the ball. Orya has been patiently waiting here. When he saw Jiang Ning turn around, a flower-like smile immediately bloomed on his face. Jiang Ning, hard work. Today was a great game, including your penalty. Orya said with a slight blush. Although she knew that talking like this did not seem to please Jiang Ning, she couldn't help but say it, because this is the truest thought in her heart. Jiang Ning just smiled, nodded slightly, and didn't say much. In Jiang Ning's view, he just did his job well, nothing more. As for the praise from the outside world, it was only an affirmation of his work and ability, and would not cause waves in his heart. Therefore, Jiang Ning never thought that Orya would have any special feelings for him, and the two were just a simple working relationship. Seeing that Jiang Ning did not speak again, Orya's heart could not help but rise a sense of loss. After getting along for such a long time, Jiang Ning and her said very little. Apart from work, there was almost no communication with her at all. Are all Chinese men like this? Or is Jiang Ning a pimple of wood? Gone, Orya. Jiang Ning shouted at Orya and walked straight towards the outside of the stadium. Oh, here it comes. Orya looked at Jiang Ning's back and stepped on his foot a little angrily. This wooden pimple. Can't you look at yourself more and say a word to yourself more? However, such thoughts can only be thought in their own hearts, and Orya 270 will never dare to say it to Jiang Ning. After all, she is just a staff member. Soon, the two returned to the hotel together. After sending Jiang Ning into the room, Orya said, Jiang Ning, there is your law enforcement schedule next, and I will inform you as soon as the results of the draw come out. Okay, thanks. Orya nodded and turned to leave, but before leaving, she turned around and said again, also, I live in your downstairs room. You can contact me at any time if you need anything. Anything you need. After that, Orya ran away and left. It's just that even if you look from the direction behind her, you can see that her little face and neck are already red. She felt that she had hinted enough. Should she still not understand? Any need? Jiang Ning was slightly stunned, then closed the door and locked the door. Now he didn't have the heart to guess what Orya was thinking. The most important thing is to take every game seriously. And the game is over. The system reward is coming again, which is also important and true. A cold mechanical voice sounded in Jiang Ning's mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the penalty for a World Cup event. The host successfully completed the law enforcement of the stadium, and after the system test, the penalty was fair and rigorous, and 3,000 fair points were awarded. DDDD. Congratulations to the host for expanding the influence of law enforcement among fans around the world, and this additional 10,000 fair points are rewarded. Fair point balance, 37,000 points. 37,000 points. Jiang Ning has also been saving the rewards of the previous 2 games, and now the balance of fair points is also a little considerable. During this period, except for one preliminary draw, he did not use the rest of the fair points. As long as 1 or 2 more matches, Jiang Ning's balance will be enough to draw a higher level reward. You know, the high level lottery has already given him eagle eye and other such divine skills. What about the higher lottery? Jiang Ning is looking forward to it. Curious to know what you can get for a higher level of sweepstakes? I asked the system before, and everything can be returned to higher level draws. That is, as long as you can't think of it, there is nothing you can't draw. The next games will become more and more exciting, and the influence will become more and more. Maybe you will get more and more extra points. The lottery pool has been activated. Will the lottery be held immediately? Let's have a preliminary draw. This time, Jiang Ning did not hesitate and still chose a primary lottery. After all, being able to improve the properties of the panel is also a good reward. Every time the attribute point is +5, Jiang Ning can clearly feel its own changes. It is precisely this improvement that makes him more comfortable in enforcing the law on the court. The next game will become more and more tiring. Of course, you also need to strengthen yourself. DDDD. The primary draw is underway. Congratulations to the host. Get attribute points, +5 allocation points, can be assigned to any attribute. Fair point balance, 35,000 points. Do you want to assign attribute points now? I'll take a look at the properties panel first. After hesitating, Jiang Ning decided to look at the panel data first to see what he needed to improve now. Properties panel, stamina, 95, speed, 90, field of view, 80, field controllability, 90, master shooting technique, 85, physical confrontation, 85, stamina, speed, field of vision, field control. Jiang Ning frowned and groaned. At this time, his physical strength is already 95, even in a field like the World Cup. The referee can guarantee fullness, but he is not in a hurry to improve. As for the field of vision, with the assistance of the eye of degree, he is considered to be enough. Finally, speed and field control remain. Attributes like physical confrontation and shooting technique, Jiang Ning did not intend to improve in a hurry. After all, the probability of these being used in the arena is also very small. So, after some hesitation, Jiang Ning made a decision. Assign to speed. DDDD. Congratulations to the host. Attribute point allocation has been completed. Properties panel. Stamina, 95. Speed, 95. Field of vision, 80. Field controllability, 90. Master shooting technique, 85. Physical confrontation, 85. Good. Jiang Ning is very satisfied with the properties of today's panels. The speed has now increased to 95, and Jiang Ning's law enforcement will be more convincing in the future. Otherwise, if you encounter a super player who is extremely fast next, you will still be unable to keep up in time. There's no denying that there are some of the top stars in football who are extremely fast. If you can keep up in time, the penalty will be more authoritative. Parable. Suddenly, Jiang Ning felt a warmth rising from inside his body. I only felt that a very gentle force of the Tao flowed away in the body, and it was slowly absorbed by the body. Subsequently, Jiang Ning simply ate something before turning on his mobile phone and preparing to check if he missed some important news. After checking it, Jiang Ning opened the bib again. But then, the phone vibrated violently only once. Jiang Ning saw that the number of his fans had risen from the previous 500+ million to 1,500+. This number is already quite terrifying. Even if it is many popular idols, it is difficult for those who do not buy zombie powder to reach such heights. This game is really amazing. And those stars are all served. Ha ha ha, sisters, have you seen it? After the game, the stars all smiled and greeted our brother Ning. They definitely want to leave a good impression on my brother Ning and not give cards in the future. But our brother Ning is a ruler, who fells and guides to eat cards. Brother Ning, when the time comes, I will help you think of the award speech of the best referee. Thank you Huaxia Football, let me have no worries. Upstairs, you are the devil. This acceptance speech is simply amazing. I don't help the wall, just help you. Brother Jiang Ning, come on, when I get better, I also want to go to the scene to watch the World Cup. Brother Ning, although the competition is very busy, it's better to send some dynamics. Under the neck, more and more Ning fans left messages to Jiang Ning. This World Cup trip has gained a lot of fans for her. If it weren't for the fact that foreign fans didn't know where to pay attention, they would definitely come over. Jiang Ning himself did not expect that his own referee would attract the attention of so many people. Immediately, after hesitating, Jiang Ning sent out a bib again. The Carl World Cup continues. I will continue to fulfill my mission. Episode 119. Either Nirvana is reborn and bottoms out, or run away with a bucket and go home to herd sheep. When Jiang Ning woke up the next day, sure enough, Olia arrived as promised. Jiang Ning got up and opened the door and welcomed Oria in. Today, Oria wore a long black dress, revealing her intellectuality and highlighting her proud figure to the fullest. In particular, the long blonde hair is scattered, exuding a faint fragrance, giving people the feeling of moose spring breeze. When Jiang Ning opened the door, Oria's eyes kept flashing with expectation, as if waiting for Jiang Ning praise himself. However, Jiang Ning's would attribute obviously exceeded Oria's expectations. After Jiang Ning saw Olia dressed up for the first time, his first reaction turned out to be to care about the game. Oria, what's the schedule like today, without me? Jiang Ning asked with some doubt. Olia was stunned when he asked this. After dressing up and appearing in front of you, can't your focus stay on me for even a second? Moreover, does dressing yourself like this have anything to do with your schedule? Oria's heart was a little lost. Still, she asked, why do you think so? But who knows, Jiang Ning's answer almost made her turn her back. Jiang Ning replied, because you didn't wear professional clothes today. If you had my schedule, you would usually come to me in professional clothes. So, what was the situation today? Oria opened her mouth, already a little unsure how to answer. He was so obvious. Did Jiang Ning really not understand, or was he not interested in himself? No matter how much you care about the race, can't you praise me first and then ask about the schedule? Yes, according to the draw, there is your session. Oria replied anyway, okay, then I'll go and prepare, and we'll go. Jiang Ning smiled, pointed to the sofa without care, and motioned for Olia to sit down. Jiang Ning himself began to prepare his own things. It seems that in Jiang Ning's eyes, only the law enforcement competition is the most important. I just haven't had time to change yet. I'll change my professional clothes later, and I'll come up to you again, Oria said with some grievances. However, as a professional receptionist, she naturally knows that Jiang Ning's work is the first. So, Oria said, Jiang Ning, today's lottery results are out. The game in which you are in charge of refereeing is the match between Argentina and Mexico. You get ready, we'll be leaving for the stadium in 2 hours. Argentina versus Mexico? Jiang Ning's movements in his hand paused, and then he nodded slightly. Another battle for survival. Especially in the Argentine team, there are 10 legendary ball kings. Leo Messi. This is a legendary star who is known as the peerless double pride of the world football along with Gong. Globally, he has no less appeal and influence than Gong. Therefore, the two are often compared by fans and are often compared. In the hearts of countless fans, both of them are existences that have pushed football competition to the peak. It's hard to really compare who is better between them, because they are all the proud sons of heaven. The Argentine team with the presence of Messi is undoubtedly the favorite to win this World Cup. Therefore, the attention of this game will definitely not be lower than the previous match between the Fruit-Tooth team and the Ukrainian team. And the reason why this match is a battle of life and death has to mention the defeat of the Argentine team in the last round. Because in the last round, the Argentine team did not play well and actually lost the ball in a shock. The defeat in the last round also led to the emergence of the Argentine team, and the situation was precarious. If you can't win the Mexico team today, this Argentine team with the King Messi will completely roll up and leave, saying goodbye to the World Cup. And the same is true of the Mexico team. As one of the top teams in North and CONCACAF, the Mexico team is divided into such a death group. Their results in the last 2 rounds were also not ideal. Therefore, if the Mexico team wants to qualify from the group stage, it must step on the Argentine team, which is known as the Pampas Eagles. It's a life and death duel. There are no intermediate options, only winning can win a lifeline. And because of the poor condition of the King Messi in the last round of the game, it also led to many voices questioning him in the football world. This traditional powerhouse has become shaky as a result. Now, rekindling the war, can the Argentine team regain confidence? Can the Pampas Eagle spread its wings again? Either Nirvana is reborn and bottoms out, or run away with a bucket and go home to the ocean. How will it end? This game will give fans the answer. Today's Argentines have no way out, and the Mexican side is also sparing no effort. Both teams need this win. For Jiang Ning, being able to enforce this game, he himself also feels very excited, if nothing else, just because this is a wonderful battle of narrow roads. At the same time, this is likely to be the last World Cup for Messi. It is even said that if the Argentine team loses again today, this match will be Messi's last game to bid farewell to the World Cup, because Messi is 35 years old. By the time the World Cup began, 4 years later, he was 39 years old. It is difficult to say whether he will continue to appear in the national team squad by then. So today's match is destined to be followed by countless fans. Soon, the news that Jiang Ning was about to referee this match was announced by FIFA. Jiang Ning's name has once again been mentioned by countless fans. Referee, Jiang Ning, Huaxia. As a result, Huaxia has become one of the focus of discussion among fans from all sides. Many fans were in disbelief. Such a weak Chinese football world, but such a legendary, iron-blooded referee has appeared. According to Jiang Ning's several previous law enforcement, many fans are now familiar with the referee from Huaxia. From contempt at the beginning, to impressive, and then to later recognition and admiration. Through accurate, rigorous, and decisive judgment again and again, Jiang Ning has gradually become one of the best judges in the hearts of fans. This glory not only belongs to Jiang Ning, but also belongs to Huaxia. Therefore, when the news that Jiang Ning will referee the Argentine team versus Mexico team match was released, Huaxia fans also felt honored. Huaxia TV immediately made an emergency adjustment, looping the wonderful penalty moments of Jiang Ning before the start of the game. Jiang Ning, we can get ready to go. 2 hours later, Oria changed back into professional clothes and came to Jiang Ning's room. Okay, go. Jiang Ning, who had been waiting, didn't have any nonsense, picked up the box and followed Oria out of the hotel. The two arrived at the stadium in a special commuter bus. At this time, the stadium was already full of people, and the shouts of passion drowned out the place. Jiang Ning came to the referee's lounge to start the final preparations before the match. Mr. Jiang Ning, according to the data given by the organizer just now, the number of spectators at this game has exceeded 89,000. And it may continue to increase, exceeding 90,000. The seats in the stadium were snapped up 2 days in advance, and there was not a single ticket left, and even one ticket was difficult to find, even if it was difficult to buy it for money. In other words, this is the game with the largest audience and the most anticipated game since the start of this Carl World Cup. It's as important as the Final Four, Oria reminded carefully. At the same time, she is also very proud of Jiang Ning. After all, many referees may not be able to referee a game in front of so many live audiences for the rest of their lives. Jiang Ning heard this and nodded. It's really worth looking forward to. And the only thing I can do for the fans is to give both teams an absolutely level playing field. Episode 120. Jiang Ning's professionalism is the highest level among international judges. Ask for subscription, ask for customization, ask for full determination. Inside the Huaxia studio. Good evening to all viewers, welcome to Huaxia TV. This is the live broadcast of the third round group stage of the Carl World Cup. Now I bring you a live broadcast of the match between the Argentine team and the Mexico team. I am the commentator of this game, Su Dong. In addition, the guest we invited today is still an old friend who everyone is very familiar with, teacher Fan Ziyi. Welcome Fan Guide. Fan Ziyi. Hello audience friends, I am Fan Ziyi, and I meet you again. Su Dong, Director Fan, what do you think of today's game? Fan Ziyi. It's actually hard to say today. It's really bad to say who loses and who wins. Su Dong, Coach Fan, we are also old friends, you must choose one today. Just say who you are optimistic about. Su Dong, I believe that many fans and friends in the live broadcast room want to hear your opinions. Fan Ziyi, if I had to choose, of course I would choose to be optimistic about the Argentine team. Su Dong, to be honest, I am still optimistic about Messi. Fan Ziyi, yes, but in addition to Messi, the strength of the entire Argentine team is also better than that of the Mexico team, and the comprehensive strength is stronger. Fan Ziyi, and Messi's role should be more to stabilize the military and improve morale, and his existence is like a reassuring pill. Fan Ziyi, the Argentine team is at a low point right now and needs a hero like Messi to step up and guide the team. Su Dong, so what Coach Fan means is that if Messi can get back to form, the Argentine team is likely to win tonight, right? Fan Ziyi, of course, the title of the Ball King Messi is not a waste, don't underestimate such a veteran. Fan Ziyi, my whole person speaks relatively straight, and I don't like moderate judgment. Fan Ziyi, so I am optimistic that Messi can lead the team to defeat the Mexico team to advance to the round of 16. Su Dong, haha, Director Fan seems to have high expectations for Messi. Fan Ziyi, yes, the title of Messi's king has a high degree of recognition, both in foreign media and internationally. Fan Gigi, it's just that fans in some countries don't want to admit it. Su Dong, okay, then what kind of tactics do you think the managers of both sides will adopt tonight? Fan Ziyi, first of all, this is a battle of life and death, so the managers of both sides will definitely not hide their secrets, and they will come up with the strongest lineup. Fan Ziyi, the Argentine team will definitely find a way to score as soon as possible, so it may be more aggressive tactically. Fan Ziyi, as for the Mexico team, their offensive firepower is not very good, but the defense is really hard. Fan Ziyi, so the Mexico team is likely to adopt the old method and use iron-blooded defense against the Argentine team. Fan Ziyi, this match will be fierce, it should be a hand-to-hand fight. Su Dong, if this is the case, presumably the rhythm of a hard battle game against the body depends on where the bottom line of the blowing penalty judged by the Lord Ni is. Su Dong, coincidentally, today's referee happens to be our Jiang Ning from Huaxia. Fan Ziyi, that's right, Jiang Ning's blowing penalty is very professional, the highest level among international judges. Judging from the footage on the scene, Jiang Ning's popularity is very high. Fan Ziyi, and judging from Jiang Ning's previous judgment, he doesn't give face to anyone, very decisive. Fan Ziyi, this game has a good show. I believe that today's cards will not be less. Su Dong, okay, we also expect Jiang Ning to bring us a wonderful penalty today. Su Dong, now let's take a look at the interaction between fans and friends in the live broadcast room. At this time, inside the Huaxia live broadcast room, before the game even started, the number of people exploded. While the fans at Carl Stadium broke new all-time highs, so did the major live broadcast rooms. Obviously, the shadow force of Messi is huge. The battle of life and death for the Argentine team is not something that all fans want to miss. There was thunder and silence, and I saw the boy drawing a bow. Messi, perform well tonight, Argentine will win. The Mexico team is not weak. If Messi can't stand up, Argentine will be cool, go home and herd sheep. Messi is the stubble uncle. I remember not being like this when I looked at him before. Please, Sigong Namor is more handsome than him. Why are there so many fans? No matter how handsome he is not as handsome as my husband. Come on husband, give Messi a few cards too. Brother Ning, be low-key today, Messi's own people. What are you talking about upstairs? First time watching Ninga law enforcement game? Who is Brother Ning given face? As long as he dares to foul you, he dares to give you cards, and it is difficult for anyone to come. Just now, I seem to have seen them in the camera, a lot of Huaxia brothers. The fans were divided into 3 parts, one for the Argentine, one for the Mexico team, and the last part belonged to the referee. Go! Messi! The proud son of the sky in the pampas step, riding the wind and waves, stepping on the doubt, just started broadcasting for 3 minutes. The live broadcast room entered 30 million viewers to watch it live. This is only a live broadcast on a single platform. If other live broadcast platforms are added together, the attention of the World Cup can explode. However, even if the World Cup is hot, there are not many people who pay attention to it because the performance of the Chinese football team is too poor. The reason why so many people come to watch the live broadcast is mainly because Jiang Ning has become popular, and many viewers on the whole network are rushing to watch the live broadcast for him. At this time, the time is also close to the start of the game. After Jiang Ning put on his clothes and equipment, he strode to the stadium. Afterwards, the players of the 2 teams slowly walked in amid the cheers of more than 90,000 fans at the scene. The enthusiasm of the scene has reached the extreme, and the sound soars into the sky, as if it is going to overturn the stadium. Jiang Ning entered with the referee team and stood in the middle of the players on both sides. Come on Argentine, the victory must be ours, by Messi. Come on Mexico team, if you win this game, you will enter the round of 16 and cut the Argentine team under the horse. Referee Jiang Ning behaved well. I just bought a ticket for you to come in. I like your law enforcement style so much. The fanatical roar began one after another, and before the game started, the fans on both sides were already doing their best to cheer their own players. There are those who cheer for the Argentine team, there are those who cheer for the Mexico team, and there are also those who cheer for Jiang Ning. Before the game started, the shouts were extremely violent. The fans really can't wait to rush into the stadium and give all their strength. Neither side can afford to lose. It's a game where you have to decide. Judging by the lineup of both sides, of the 26-man squad in Argentine, 25 play for European clubs. Although most of them are not too famous, they have been formed for a long time, with tacit understanding and super combat effectiveness. Likewise, they are the favorites to win this Carl World Cup. Although they lost in the last round, they can still qualify from the group stage today as long as they win. Goalkeeper of the Argentine, Damian Martinez. Known as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Oneself. You know, a good striker and a good goalkeeper are the standard of a strong team, and the Argentine team has both. Central defender, Romero, who plays for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. He has been voted the best player of the day in the Premier League many times, with a strong sense of defense, open and decisive footwork, and fierce on the top. Back, De Paul. His organizational skills and extraordinary abilities are excellent, and he is often able to bring a decisive boost to the team's organizational attack. Front waist, Dish Messi, the absolute core and spiritual leader of the Argentine, a ceiling-level player in world football. Together with Sigong, it is one of the most outstanding double pride in today's football. Therefore, the two are often compared by others. The fans on both sides also did not obey the other. Right midfielder, Di Maria, one of the best assists. Messi's best partner is often referred to as the Mr. Key of the tournament, and the review is high. Center, Lautaro Martin, extremely aggressive in his style of play and superb technique at his feet. Head coach, 44 years old Argentinian, known by fans as San Scaloni. The whole team plays 532 and 4,312 formations. However, judging from tonight's starting lineup, Scaloni, the head coach of the Argentini team, is likely to change to a 433 formation. Obviously, in the face of this life and death decisive battle, Scaloni also felt the pressure, because today's Mexico team is definitely a difficult bone to chew. The Argentine team has bet on everything.